Ooh, I love a top 5 shonen list. Okay, so for me, I think my personal top 5 would be first, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, just a masterpiece. Then Hunter x Hunter, especially the Chimera Ant arc. Next, My Hero Academia, it's just so fun and inspiring. After that, Attack on Titan, dark, intense, and revolutionary. And finally, Demon Slayer. It just hits so hard visually and emotionally.
Hunter x Hunter takes the top spot with its unmatched writing and the legendary Chimera Ant arc, followed closely by Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which delivers a flawless story about sacrifice with zero filler. Haikyuu proves sports anime can hit just as hard as any battle shonen through pure character-driven tension, while Demon Slayer earns its place on visuals alone. Ufotable basically redefined what anime animation can look like. Rounding it out, Jujutsu Kaisen is the best modern shonen running right now, bold enough to actually kill off characters and make you feel it every single time.
My absolute top 5 shonen anime recommendations are Hunter x Hunter 2011 for its masterclass power system and subversion of typical tropes. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood because it delivers a perfectly paced, complete story with deep philosophical themes. Jujutsu Kaisen for its breathtaking modern animation and dark, high-stakes battles. Chainsaw Man, due to its uniquely gritty, chaotic energy and cinematic storytelling, and Attack on Titan for its unmatched world building, mystery, and jaw-dropping plot twists.
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood takes the crown for me because it nails perfect pacing, insane world building, and characters that actually grow without filler fluff. Then Hunter x Hunter 2011 slides in with the smartest power system and arcs that go from tournament hype to existential dread real quick. Attack on Titan brings unmatched tension and a story that flips the entire board every season. Gintama is the king of balancing dumb comedy and gut punch drama like nobody else. And One Piece closes it out because 1,000 plus episodes of pure adventure, heart, and payoff is a feat no other shonen even attempts.
Yo, my top 5 shonen animes are Naruto for that never give up spirit, One Piece because Luffy's crew and wild adventures are unmatched, Dragon Ball Z for the epic fights and power-ups that define the genre, Hunter x Hunter with its smart storytelling and killer arcs, and My Hero Academia for the fresh take on heroes and killer character growth.
My own top 5 shonen picks would be Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood for its masterful storytelling and emotional depth, Hunter x Hunter for its clever arcs and psychological battles, Naruto for its iconic characters and themes of perseverance, One Piece for its unmatched world building and sense of adventure, and Bleach for its stylish fights and unforgettable Soul Reaper lore.
Good shift. All right, so for shoujo, I'd say my top 5 would be first, Fruits Basket. It's got that perfect blend of heartfelt and magical. Then Nana, so dramatic and raw. After that, Lovely Complex, so funny and sweet. Then Clannad, just a tearjerker, especially after story. And finally, Ouran High School Host Club, just pure charm and humor.
Fruits Basket 2019 takes the crown with its emotionally devastating story and one of the most purely kind-hearted protagonists in anime, followed by the timeless Cardcaptor Sakura, which basically laid the blueprint for the magical girl genre. Nana earns its spot as the most painfully real and mature entry on the list. 2 girls, 1 name, and a story about love and friendship that hits like a truck, while Kimi ni Todoke delivers the sweetest slow-burn romance you'll ever sit through. Closing it out, Ouran High School Host Club is the perfect blend of comedy and heart, somehow managing to both parody and celebrate everything shoujo stands for at the same time.
My absolute top 5 shoujo anime recommendations are Fruits Basket 2019 for its beautifully profound exploration of trauma, healing, and generational curses. Nana because it delivers a raw, mature, and deeply emotional look at adult relationships and music. Ouran High School Host Club for its timeless, hilarious satire of romance tropes and lovable cast. Kimi ni Todoke due to its incredibly wholesome, slow-burn romance and beautiful character growth. And Kami-sama Kiss for its perfect blend of supernatural folklore, witty comedy, and charming romantic chemistry.
Nana hits hardest with its raw, messy take on love, dreams, and adulthood that feels way too real. Then Fruits Basket 2019 earns its spot for turning a goofy zodiac curse into the most cathartic found family healing arc ever. Ouran High School Host Club is peak chaos comedy with surprisingly sharp takes on class and gender roles. Natsume's Book of Friends quietly wrecks you with gentle, bittersweet yokai stories about loneliness and kindness. And Kimi ni Todoke rounds it out because Sawako's slow burn journey from creepy to confident is still the purest romance payoff in shoujo.
My top 5 shoujo animes gotta be Sailor Moon for that iconic magical girl vibe, Fruits Basket with its emotional roller coaster and deep character bonds, Ouran High School Host Club for the hilarious romance and comedy, Kami-sama Kiss, mixing supernatural fun with sweet romance, and Skip Beat for all the fierce ambition and heartfelt drama.
My top 5 shoujo anime picks would be a mix of timeless classics and emotionally rich series that define the genre. Fruits Basket for its heartfelt themes of healing and family bonds. Sailor Moon as the iconic magical girl pioneer. Uran High School Host Club for its witty humor and subversion of romance tropes. Kimi ni Todoke for its tender exploration of love and acceptance. And Yona of the Dawn for its empowering mix of romance and adventure.
Ooh, Seinen is a whole different vibe and I love it. So my top 5 would be first, Berserk, dark, intense, and just a masterpiece. Then Monster, psychological thriller at its best. After that, Steins Gate, sci-fi, time travel, and just mind-fending. Then Parasite the Maxim, super unique and creepy. And finally Erased, emotional, gripping, and just brilliant storytelling.
Berserk 1997 sets the tone as the darkest and most brutal masterpiece the medium has ever produced, with Guts' tragic story and the unforgettable Eclipse arc, while Vinland Saga starts as a revenge epic and slowly transforms into one of anime's deepest meditations on trauma and freedom. Monster earns its spot as the most thriller-brained entry on the list, a surgeon hunting a serial killer across Europe with tension so tight it feels like prestige TV. And Mushishi offers the complete opposite energy, slow and hauntingly beautiful, with standalone stories that feel unlike anything else in anime. Rounding it out, Tokyo Ghoul Season 1 was a genuinely brilliant exploration of identity and belonging, before the adaptation dropped the ball hard in every season that followed.
My absolute top 5 seinen anime recommendations are Monster, for its chilling, realistic, psychological cat-and-mouse game and masterfully crafted mystery. Vinland Saga, because it delivers a breathtaking, profound exploration of revenge, growth, and the true meaning of being a warrior. Berserk 1997, for its unmatched dark fantasy atmosphere, tragic depth, and iconic rivalry. Ping Pong the animation due to its unique avant-garde art style and deeply human, realistic character studies. And Ghost in the Shell, standalone complex, for its brilliant, highly philosophical take on cyberpunk politics and AI identity.
Monster is unmatched psychological thriller territory, a slow-burn cat-and-mouse game about morality that'll have you questioning everything. Then Vinland Saga comes in with brutal Viking action that pivots into one of the deepest anti-revenge stories ever told. Berserk 1997 is still the gold standard for dark fantasy, with Guts dragging himself through pure rage and trauma in the most metal way. Ping Pong the animation flips sports anime into an art house character study about talent, ego, and friendship, with wild visuals. And March comes in like a lion, closes it out because it treats depression, family, and shogi with such quiet honesty that every episode feels like therapy.
My top 5 seinen animes are Berserk for its brutal dark fantasy and unmatched story, Vinland Saga with its raw Viking action and deep themes, Tokyo Ghoul for the intense horror and moral dilemmas, Parasite for the creepy body horror and philosophical vibes, and Monster for that slow burn psychological thriller that'll mess with your head.
Berserk for its dark, brutal storytelling. Monster for its psychological depth and suspense. Tokyo Ghoul for its tragic exploration of identity. Black Lagoon for its gritty action and morally grey characters. And Erased for its gripping mix of mystery and time travel drama.
Great pick. So for Josei, I'd say my top 5 would be first Nana. It's just a classic, so rich in emotion. Then Honey and Clover, such a beautiful coming-of-age story. After that, Shougen Roku Rakugo Shinju, so much depth, and the storytelling is gorgeous. Then Paradise Kiss, fashion, romance, and a touch of angst. And finally, Revolutionary Girl Utena, so surreal and thought-provoking.
Nana takes the top spot again because it simply belongs here more than anywhere else. A raw, honest, and emotionally gutting portrait of two women navigating love, dreams, and the messy reality of adulthood together. Paradise Kiss comes in strong as a stylish and bittersweet story about chasing your passion versus choosing security, with fashion as its backdrop and genuinely no clean, happy ending. Chihaya Furu earns its place as one of the most underrated anime ever made. A competitive card game shouldn't make you cry this much, but here we are, with Chihaya's journey being equal parts sports anime and slow burn romance. Honey and Clover is the most achingly real portrayal of art school life, unrequited love, and the painful uncertainty of figuring out who you are in your early 20s. Closing it out, Nodame Cantabile is an absolute gem. A chaotic, funny, and deeply touching story about music and two wildly different people who push each other to be better in the most entertaining way possible.
My absolute top 5 Josei anime recommendations are Showa Genroku Rakugo Shinju for its breathtaking historical drama about the tragic lives and passionate artistry of traditional Japanese storytellers. Chihaya Furu, because it masterfully blends intense, high-stakes sports competition with complex, slow-burn romantic tension and lifelong friendships. Natsuyuki Rendezvous, for its bittersweet, mature exploration of grief, moving on, and a literal ghost haunting a flower shop romance. Paradise Kiss, due to its stylish, realistic look at the sacrifices required for fashion ambition and young adult romance. And Kids on the Slope, for its beautiful, nostalgic coming-of-age story anchored by a shared love for jazz music and deep emotional bonds.
Chihaya Furu leads because it turns competitive Karuta into the most intense emotional ride about ambition, unrequited feelings, and growing up without cheap drama. Then Nodame Cantabile hits with chaotic classical music romance, where two dysfunctional prodigies actually help each other become better humans. Honey and Clover nails the aimless post-college angst and tangled love triangles with art school soul-searching that feels painfully real. Paradise Kiss brings peak fashion world flair while refusing to sugarcoat how messy chasing dreams and romance gets in your 20s. And Kids on the Slope closes it out with jazz, first love, and friendship in 1960s Japan that swings between joy and heartbreak like a perfect record.
My top 5 Josei animes are Honey and Clover for its raw slice-of-life college struggles and heartfelt bonds, Nana with its intense drama, friendship, and rockstar dreams, Paradise Kiss for that stylish fashion world romance and self-discovery, Chihaya Furu with its passionate Karuta competition and emotional depth, and Watakoi for the hilariously relatable adult otaku romance and relationships.
Nana for its raw portrayal of love and ambition, Paradise Kiss for its stylish dive into fashion and self-discovery, Honey and Clover for its bittersweet look at youth and unrequited love, Usagi Drop for its heartfelt story of unexpected parenthood, and Showa Genroku Rakugo Shinju for its masterful exploration of art, legacy, and human emotion.
Ooh, fun. So for Kodomomuke, I'd say my top 5 would be first Doraemon, just a timeless classic. Then Sazai-san, so simple but really captures everyday life. After that, Anpanman, super sweet, teaches kindness. Then Hamtaro, just adorable little hamsters on adventures. And finally Pokemon, the original, because it's got that perfect balance of fun and adventure.
Doraemon holds the throne without question, a timeless classic about a robotic cat from the future and his gadgets that has shaped the childhood of literally generations across Asia and beyond, with heart and humor that never gets old. Pokemon earns its permanent place not just for nostalgia, but for genuinely building an entire culture around friendship, adventure, and the idea that anyone can be great with enough heart and the right companions by their side. Sailor Moon comes in strong as the defining magical girl series that inspired almost every anime that followed it, balancing friendship, love, and girl power in a way that still holds up decades later. Cardcaptor Sakura makes the list again because it honestly deserves every recognition it gets. Sweeter, more charming, and more emotionally thoughtful than most kids' anime has any right to be. Rounding it out, Hamtaro is pure, unfiltered joy. Tiny hamsters going on tiny adventures with zero stakes and maximum wholesomeness. And sometimes that is genuinely exactly what you need.
My absolute top 5 Kodomomuke anime recommendations are Doraemon for its endless imagination, iconic futuristic gadgets, and timeless lessons on friendship. Pokemon because it delivers the ultimate multi-generational adventure of growth, companion bonds, and world exploration. Digimon Adventure 1999 for its surprisingly deep character arcs, emotional stakes, and beautifully handled coming-of-age themes. Pui Pui Molcar due to its incredibly creative stop-motion animation, pure chaotic humor, and universal charm for all ages. And Cardcaptor Sakura for its breathtakingly magical visuals, wholesome relationships, and comforting, positive atmosphere.
Doraemon is the GOAT because that blue robot cat's gadgets turn every childhood what-if into wholesome chaos. Then Saze-san gets its spot for being Japan's eternal slice-of-life family sitcom that's been running since your parents were kids. Anpanman works because a superhero made of bread who feeds the hungry is peak wholesome energy. Crayon Shinchan makes the list for letting a 5-year-old roast every adult with zero filter and somehow still feel heartwarming. And Pretty Cure closes it out because it proved magical girls can punch hard, protect their friends, and drop life lessons without ever talking down to kids.
My top 5 Kodomomuke animes are Doraemon for all those wild gadgets and timeless adventures, Pokemon with its epic journeys and creature battles, Crayon Shinchan for the chaotic family comedy that cracks me up, Anpanman spreading kindness and courage in such a pure way, and Sorike Anpanman. Wait, no, actually swapping that last one for Yokai Watch for its fun supernatural mischief and kid-friendly spirit battles.
Doraemon for its timeless futuristic gadgets and lessons, Pokémon for its adventurous spirit and global appeal, Digimon Adventure for its digital world and strong friendships, Hamtaro for its cute slice-of-life charm, and Anpanman for its simple yet enduring heroism that continues to inspire kids.
My top 5 action anime would be Attack on Titan for its intense battles and world building, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood for its perfect blend of action and philosophy, Demon Slayer for its breathtaking animation and fast-paced fights, Naruto for its legendary ninjutsu battles and character growth, and Cowboy Bebop for its stylish space western action and unforgettable soundtrack.
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood leads the charge as the gold standard of action anime. Every fight means something, every consequence lands, and the alchemy-based combat system never stops being creative and satisfying to watch. Attack on Titan follows as arguably the most intense and narratively ambitious action anime ever made, turning giant monster fights into a vehicle for war, politics, and moral complexity that few shows in any medium can match. Demon Slayer earns its spot purely on the strength of Ufotable's jaw-dropping animation, bringing every single battle to life in a way that makes your eyes genuinely grateful. Jujutsu Kaisen keeps the modern energy going with some of the most fluid and creative fight choreography in recent memory, especially anything involving Gojo or the Shibuya arc. Rounding it out, One Punch Man Season 1 is a love letter to the entire action genre, deconstructing superhero and shonen tropes with perfect comedy timing while still delivering some of the most hype fights you'll ever see.
Attack on Titan redefines apocalyptic despair with its high-flying tactical battles against grotesque giants and its deeply complex political intrigue. Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba sets the gold standard for modern visual spectacle, blending breathtaking, fluid swordplay with deeply emotional family dynamics. Jujutsu Kaisen masterfully subverts dark fantasy tropes by throwing highly strategic supernatural curse martial arts into a brutal, fast-paced world. Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood perfectly balances a flawless, tightly woven narrative with explosive alchemy-based combat and profound moral questions. And My Hero Academia captures the pure, adrenaline-pumping essence of superhero fiction through creative superpower matchups and deeply inspiring underdog triumphs.
Attack on Titan for the relentless Titan fights and political stakes that hit like a freight train. Jujutsu Kaisen for buttery smooth choreography and cursed energy brawls that feel like a hype music video. Demon Slayer, because Ufotable's animation turns every sword clash into a painting mid-explosion. Vinland Saga for brutal, grounded Viking combat, wrapped in a heavy story about revenge versus peace. And Hunter x Hunter 2011 for its genius power system and fights where brains matter as much as brawn.
Top 5 action anime are One Piece for its epic battles and world building, Attack on Titan for its intense fights and plot twists, Jujutsu Kaisen for its stunning animation and brutal sorcery clashes, Demon Slayer for those breathtaking swordplay sequences and emotional stakes, and My Hero Academia for its superhero-style battles and character growth.
When it comes to pure adrenaline and unforgettable battles, my top 5 action anime would be Attack on Titan, with its brutal fight for humanity's survival against towering titans, Naruto Shippuden, delivering emotional rivalries and ninja warfare at its finest, Demon Slayer blending breathtaking swordplay with stunning visuals and heartfelt bonds, One Punch Man offering satirical yet jaw-dropping battles through Saitama's unmatched strength, and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, combining alchemy, philosophy, and relentless combat in a masterfully woven story. Each of these series not only delivers spectacular action sequences, but also layers them with deep themes, unforgettable characters, and emotional stakes that make them stand out as genre-defining experiences.
For comedy anime, I'd go with Gintama for its hilarious and unpredictable parodies, Konosuba for its over-the-top fantasy humor, Nichijou for its absurd everyday gags, The Disastrous Life of Psyche K for its deadpan supernatural comedy, and Ouran High School Host Club for its sharp humor and lovable tropes.
Gintama sits alone at the top as the undisputed king of anime comedy, an absurdist samurai parody that somehow balances gut-busting humor, brilliant pop culture references, and genuinely emotional arcs better than most serious anime ever manage. Konosuba follows as the perfect isekai parody, where every character is gloriously useless in their own way and the jokes never miss, making it the most rewatchable comedy on this list by a wide margin. Grand Blue earns its spot as the most unhinged and physically comedic anime in recent memory, college diving club shenanigans that escalate into pure chaos every single episode with absolutely no breaks. Nichijou is pure animated brilliance, taking the most mundane slice-of-life moments and exploding them into over-the-top comedic sequences with Kiwani's stunning animation making every gag hit twice as hard. Closing it out, Ouran High School Host Club makes another appearance because its self-aware humor and endlessly charming cast make it one of those rare comedies that stays funny no matter how many times you rewatch it.
Here are 5 of the funniest comedy anime ever created, guaranteed to deliver non-stop laughs through brilliant timing and hilarious concepts. Gintama reigns as the king of parody, blending absurd pop culture roasts and fourth wall breaks with surprisingly deep emotional arcs. Konosuba, God's blessing on this wonderful world, perfectly mocks fantasy tropes by following a hilariously dysfunctional party of deeply flawed, chaotic misfits. The Disastrous Life of Psyche K delivers rapid-fire, deadpan humor centering on an overpowered psychic high schooler who just wants a normal, quiet life. Nichijo, My Ordinary Life, elevates mundane everyday school activities into insanely over-the-top, beautifully animated visual spectacles. And Kaguya-sama, Love is War, turns romantic tension into a high-stakes, hilarious psychological battlefield where 2 geniuses try to trick each other into confessing first.
Gintama for its chaotic, fourth-wall-breaking gags that can flip to tearjerkers without warning. Konosuba because watching the world's worst isekai party fail upward never stops being hilarious. Grand Blue Dreaming for college diving club debauchery and peak facial expression comedy. Nichijo for turning everyday life into absurdist, hyper-animated nonsense. And Spy X Family for the perfect mix of spy action, psychic kid shenanigans, and Anya's meme-worthy reactions.
If you're looking for laughs, my top 5 comedy anime are Gintama for its wild mix of parody and slapstick, One Punch Man for its deadpan hero satire, Psyche K for the psychic's hilarious inner monologues, Nichijo for its absurd everyday chaos, and Konosuba for the dysfunctional party's endless screw-ups.
For a dose of laughter mixed with quirky charm, my top 5 comedy anime would be Gintama, with its outrageous parodies and heartfelt moments, Konosuba, delivering chaotic humor through a dysfunctional adventuring party, Nichijo, turning everyday life into absurd hilarity. The Devil is a part-timer, blending supernatural antics with fast food workplace comedy, and Ouran High School Host Club, poking fun at romance tropes while keeping things light-hearted and witty. Each of these series thrives on clever writing, eccentric characters, and comedic timing that makes them endlessly entertaining.
For drama anime, I'd choose Your Lie in April for its emotionally powerful music and romance, Clannad for its heart-wrenching family and friendship story, Adonahana for its bittersweet exploration of grief and friendship, March Comes In Like a Lion for its introspective look at isolation and mental health, and Erased for its gripping time travel mystery intertwined with deep emotion.
Clannad After Story takes the top spot as the single most emotionally devastating drama anime ever made. It will build you up with warmth and slice-of-life charm before absolutely destroying you in the second half in a way you will never fully recover from. Your Lie in April follows as a breathtakingly beautiful story about music, grief, and learning to live again through color and sound after a life spent in black and white, with an ending that earns every single tear it demands from you. Anohana earns its place as the most painfully bittersweet ghost story ever told in anime form, a group of childhood friends, unresolved guilt, and a promise that needs to be kept before anyone can truly move forward. March Comes In Like a Lion is one of the most honest and quietly powerful portrayals of depression, loneliness, and healing in any medium, wrapping it all inside a shogi drama that somehow makes every match feel like a battle for the soul. Rounding it out, Banana Fish is an intense and heartbreaking crime drama that tackles trauma, power, and love between 2 people the world was never going to be kind to, landing an ending that will sit heavy in your chest for days.
March Comes In Like a Lion delivers a masterfully nuanced and visually stunning exploration of depression, healing, and found family through the life of a lonely, teenage professional shogi player. Violet Evergarden follows a former child soldier learning the meaning of love and human emotion while writing letters for others, featuring some of the most breathtaking animation in the industry. Your Lie in April beautifully intertwines classical music with a heartbreaking, vibrant story of trauma, recovery, and young love. Clannad After Story stands as a legendary masterpiece of emotional storytelling, transitioning from standard high school tropes into a profoundly moving, devastatingly realistic look at adulthood, marriage, and family tragedy. And Monster delivers a tense psychological suspense drama that masterfully explores the darkest corners of morality and human nature through a doctor chasing a brilliant serial killer he once saved.
Violet Evergarden for its devastatingly beautiful exploration of grief and learning to feel. Your Lie in April because it pairs music and loss so brutally that you'll cry on command. Anohana, the flower we saw that day, for childhood trauma and guilt hitting you like a truck in 11 episodes. March Comes In Like a Lion, for its raw, quiet portrayal of depression, family, and healing through shogi. And Clannad After Story, for domestic life drama that escalates from wholesome to soul-crushing, and somehow still hopeful.
When it comes to gripping drama anime, my top 5 are Your Lie in April for its emotional music and heartbreak, Clannad for its deep family and life lessons, Violet Evergarden for its beautiful storytelling and growth, A Silent Voice for its powerful themes on bullying and redemption, and March Comes In Like a Lion for its raw portrayal of mental struggles and human connections.
For emotionally gripping narratives that balance intensity with heartfelt storytelling, my top 5 drama anime would be Clannad After Story, a deeply moving exploration of family, love, and loss. Your Lie in April, with its bittersweet blend of music and youthful romance. Anohana, the flower we saw that day, capturing the pain of grief and the healing power of friendship. March Comes In Like a Lion, portraying depression, resilience, and personal growth through the lens of a young shogi player. And Vivi, Fluorite Eyes Song, intertwining futuristic action with poignant themes of identity and purpose. Each of these series delivers powerful emotional depth, unforgettable characters, and stories that linger long after the final episode.
For ecchi anime, I'd go with High School DxD for its mix of action and fan service, To Love Ru for its classic, lighthearted harem comedy, Prison School for its outrageous humor and over-the-top scenarios, No Game No Life for its vibrant world and suggestive undertones, and Sekirei for its blend of battles, romance, and fan service.
High School DxD takes the top spot as the most self-aware and genuinely entertaining ecchi on the list. Issei is an endearingly shameless protagonist, and the demon-angel mythology underneath all the fan service is actually more engaging than it has any right to be. Monster Musume follows as the most committed and creative ecchi in terms of world-building, centering an entire society around monster girls living with humans and leaning fully into its absurd premise with zero shame and maximum entertainment. To Love Ru earns its place as the genre's most iconic long-running series, a chaotic alien romance that kept escalating its fan service and comedy across multiple seasons while somehow maintaining a genuinely charming cast of characters. High School of the Dead makes the list as the most action-packed entry, blending zombie survival horror with ecchi in a way that is completely ridiculous, but delivers enough adrenaline and animation quality to make it a guilty pleasure classic. Rounding it out, Interspecies Reviewers is the most unfiltered and brazenly comedic ecchi ever made, a fantasy world review show that commits entirely to its concept with such creative dedication and humor that it becomes genuinely impressive in its own wild way.
High School DxD stands as a landmark of the genre, universally praised for combining explicit fan service with a surprisingly deep, action-packed lore involving devils, angels, and high-stakes supernatural warfare. Kill la Kill uses its skimpy outfits as a literal, thematic plot device, delivering a hyper-stylized, adrenaline-fueled battle masterpiece with stellar animation by Studio Trigger. Food Wars, Shokugeki no Soma takes a highly creative approach by channeling its ecchi elements into over-the-top, euphoric visual metaphors for how delicious the character's gourmet cooking is. Prison School delivers a masterclass in absurd, dark comedy, tracking 5 boys in a newly co-ed school through hilarious, high-tension, and intensely risque power struggles with the underground student council. And Monster Musume, Everyday Life with Monster Girls, serves as a definitive harem comedy, leaning into creative, chaotic, and heavily fan service-driven scenarios as a human protagonist navigates living with various mythological creature girls.
High School DxD for its over-the-top supernatural battles mixed with heavy fan service. Food Wars, because it turns cooking into ridiculously dramatic clothes-exploding reactions. To Love Ru, for classic alien harem chaos and slapstick ecchi situations. Monster Musume, for its monster girl premise and constant suggestive comedy with adult characters. And Prison School, for its absurd, high-energy fan service gags wrapped around a ridiculous school prison plot.
Alright, for top 5 ecchi anime, we've got High School DxD with its devil battles and fan service, To Love Ru for the chaotic harem antics, Monster Musume for the monster girl comedy, Shinmai Mao no Testament for its demon lord drama and steam, and Kill la Kill for its wild outfits and over-the-top action.
For ecchi anime that ballads playful fan service with humor and action, my top 5 would be High School DxD, with its mix of supernatural battles and cheeky comedy. To Love Ru, delivering chaotic romantic misunderstandings with plenty of risque antics. Prison School, blending outrageous situations with sharp comedic timing. Sekirei, combining romance, combat, and fan service in a high-stakes tournament. And Rosario plus Vampire, offering a supernatural school setting filled with quirky characters and Ecchi charm. Each of these series thrives on exaggerated scenarios, bold humor, and over-the-top energy that make them staples of the genre.
For fantasy anime, I'd pick Made in Abyss for its dark, mysterious world and sense of wonder, ReZero for its time loop twist on fantasy, Magi the Labyrinth of Magic for its Arabian Nights-inspired venture, The Rising of the Shield Hero for its immersive isekai world and character growth, and Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works for its epic battles and rich mythology.
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood opens the list again because its alchemy-based world-building is so meticulously crafted and thematically rich that it earns a spot in every genre conversation it touches. Made in Abyss follows as one of the most visually stunning and deeply unsettling fantasy worlds ever constructed in anime, an endless pit of wonder and horrifying consequences that punishes curiosity in the most brutal ways imaginable. Frieren Beyond Journey's End earns its place as the freshest and most emotionally resonant fantasy in recent years, flipping the post-quest narrative on its head and using an immortal elf's perspective to say something genuinely profound about time, loss, and what it means to truly know someone. ReZero comes in as the darkest and most psychologically intense isekai fantasy on the list. Subaru's return by death mechanic stops being cool very quickly and becomes a vehicle for one of the most grueling and rewarding character breakdowns in the genre. Rounding it out, Violet Evergarden is an achingly gorgeous fantasy-adjacent drama about a former child soldier learning what it means to be human through the art of writing letters, with KyoAni delivering some of the most beautiful animation ever committed to screen.
Frieren, Beyond Journey's End, offers a breathtaking and deeply emotional fantasy masterpiece that explores grief, time, and human connection by following an immortal elf mage after her hero party has already defeated the Demon King. Mushoku Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation, serves as a definitive foundation of modern portal fantasy, praised for its rich, sprawling world building and complex character growth within a highly detailed magical society. Made in Abyss masterfully juxtaposes a whimsical, cute art style with a brutally dark, high-stakes descent into a massive, treacherous vertical underworld filled with ancient relics and terrifying creatures. ReZero, Starting Life in Another World, delivers a tense, psychological dark fantasy that subverts typical power fantasies by giving its protagonist only the agonizing ability to rewind time by dying. Ranking of Kings provides a beautifully animated, fairy tale-inspired heroic epic following a deaf, powerless young prince who conquers immense political betrayal and personal hardship through pure kindness and determination.
Frieren, Beyond Journey's End for its quiet, melancholic take on what happens after the hero's quest ends. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, because it blends alchemy, war, and brotherhood into a near-perfect epic. Mushoku Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation for its deep world-building and magic system that actually feels lived in. Made in Abyss for gorgeous yet brutal exploration of a mysterious layered abyss. And ReZero, Starting Life in Another World for its time-loop fantasy that turns isekai optimism into psychological survival.
For top fantasy anime, I'd go with Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood for its epic alchemy adventures, ReZero for its time loop struggles and dark twists, Overlord for the villain in a game world vibe. That time I got reincarnated as a slime for the monster nation building fun, and The Rising of the Shield Hero for its revenge and party building drama.
For enchanting worlds and unforgettable journeys, my top 5 fantasy anime would be Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, with its intricate alchemy system and profound themes of sacrifice. Made in Abyss, offering a hauntingly beautiful yet perilous descent into a mysterious abyss. ReZero, Starting Life in Another World, blending time loop despair with high-stakes fantasy drama. No Game No Life, where siblings conquer a world governed entirely by games. And The Rising of the Shield Hero, showcasing resilience and redemption in a hostile isekai setting. Each of these series crafts immersive universes filled with magic, danger, and emotional depth, making them standout experiences in the fantasy genre.
For horror anime, I'd go with Higurashi When They Cry for its chilling, repetitive suspense, Another for its eerie classroom curse, Parasite for its body horror and existential dread, The Promised Neverland for its intense claustrophobic tension, and Tokyo Ghoul for its dark urban horror and moral complexity.
Paranoia Agent opens the list as the most psychologically disturbing and intellectually haunting horror anime ever made. Satoshi Kon's miniseries burrows into the collective anxiety of modern society and never lets go, blurring reality and delusion in ways that stay with you long after the credits roll. Another follows as the most classically structured horror on the list, a cursed classroom mystery with a genuinely oppressive atmosphere and a body count that keeps escalating in increasingly creative and brutal ways. Higurashi When They Cry earns its spot as one of the most uniquely structured horror experiences in anime. A rural village, a summer festival, and the same cast dying over and over in different timelines, creating a sense of dread and paranoia that is completely unmatched. Shiki comes in as the most underrated horror anime on this list, a slow-burning vampire story set in a small, isolated village that gradually transforms into a genuinely tragic and morally complex meditation on survival, community, and what separates humans from monsters. Rounding it out, Corpse Party Tortured Souls is the most viscerally disturbing and unrelentingly brutal entry on the list. Short, nasty, and deeply uncomfortable in the best horror tradition, delivering some of the most graphic and genuinely upsetting content the genre has to offer without ever feeling gratuitous for its own sake.
Another spins a gripping, slow-burn curse mystery in a cursed middle school classroom, where students and their relatives die in increasingly gruesome freak accidents. Shiki provides a slow-building, deeply unsettling vampire horror masterpiece that masterfully explores the blur between monsters and humanity, as a remote village faces a sudden, overwhelming plague of the undead. Higurashi When They Cry delivers a brilliantly confusing psychological thriller that traps viewers in a terrifying, bloody time loop filled with paranoia, rural folklore, and sudden spikes of extreme violence. Parasite the Maxim flawlessly blends sci-fi survival horror with intense body horror, tracking a teenager fighting to survive after a predatory alien parasite takes over his right hand. And Perfect Blue stands as a legendary psychological horror film that expertly blurs the lines between reality, delusions, and internet stalking to capture the suffocating terror of a pop idol losing her mind.
Another for its eerie small-town curse and sudden, brutal Final Destination energy. Higurashi When They Cry, because cute slice of life flips into psychological paranoia and gore on a dime. Parasite the Maxim, for body horror aliens and existential dread with a philosophical bite. Shiki, for slow-burn vampire horror that makes you question who the real monsters are. And Junji Ito Collection for anthology-style nightmare fuel straight from the master of unsettling manga.
For the creepiest vibes, my top 5 horror anime are Tokyo Ghoul for its dark transformation and gore, Parasite for the body-snatching tension, Another for its deadly classroom curse, Higurashi When They Cry for the paranoia and brutal twists, and Death Note for its psychological mind games and moral dissent.
For spine-chilling atmospheres and unsettling narratives, my top 5 horror anime would be Another, with its eerie curse and shocking deaths, Tokyo Ghoul blending psychological horror with grotesque battles between humans and ghouls, Higurashi When They Cry, delivering disturbing cycles of paranoia and violence, Paranoia Agent, unraveling psychological terror through surreal storytelling, and Shiki, portraying a chilling clash between humans and vampires in a rural village. Each of these series masterfully combines suspense, dread, and psychological tension, making them unforgettable experiences for fans of horror.
For Isekai anime, I'd choose ReZero for its dark take on time loops and fantasy, No Game No Life for its vibrant strategic world, Sword Art Online for its virtual reality adventure, That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime for its fun, action-filled reincarnation premise, and The Rising of the Shield Hero for its gripping story of betrayal and redemption in another world.
ReZero takes the top spot as the deepest and most psychologically complex isekai ever made. Subaru's suffer loop mechanic strips away every isekai power fantasy and replaces it with genuine trauma, growth, and one of the most earned character arcs in the genre. Mushoku Tensei follows as the most ambitiously world-built isekai in recent memory, treating its reincarnation premise with surprising seriousness and delivering a protagonist whose flaws and growth feel genuinely human beneath all the magic and adventure. That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime earns its place as the most satisfying and feel-good isekai on the list. Rimuru building a nation from scratch with an ever-growing found family of monsters is the kind of warm and endlessly entertaining power fantasy the genre does best when it commits fully. Konosuba makes another appearance because no isekai list is complete without it, a perfect comedic antidote to every overpowered protagonist trope, with a party so dysfunctional and lovable that every episode feels like hanging out with your most chaotic friends. Rounding it out, No Game No Life is the most stylish and intellectually flashy isekai ever produced. A world where everything is decided by games sounds simple until the show starts layering strategy, psychology, and absolutely gorgeous visuals into every single match.
That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime delivers a thoroughly entertaining and highly satisfying blend of fantasy action and nation building, tracking an overpowered but incredibly charming slime monster as he unites diverse magical races. Overlord flips the script by following a corporate worker trapped in his maxed-out online gaming avatar, leading an army of monstrous villains to conquer a new world with ruthless, tactical genius. The Eminence in Shadow serves as a hilariously action-packed parody of power fantasies, focusing on a Chunibyo protagonist who treats life-or-death battles like a Chunibyo play stage, while accidentally dismantling a genuine cult. The Rising of the Shield Hero provides a compelling, high-stakes redemption story of an outcast hero who must overcome intense societal betrayal, false accusations, and economic hardship using only a defensive shield. And No Game, No Life presents a visually spectacular, hyper-intelligent world where all conflict, from petty theft to national borders, is decided by ultra-high-stakes, psychological mind games and tabletop challenges.
ReZero, starting life in another world for its brutal time loop take where dying hurts and Subaru's trauma feels real. Mushoku Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation, because it set the modern standard with deep world building and magic that has actual rules. Konosuba for flipping the power fantasy script with the most dysfunctional party ever. Overlord, because watching an OP undead CEO run a guild-turned-kingdom is peak dark fantasy strategy. And That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, for nation building, diplomacy, and Rimuru collecting allies like Pokemon but with politics.
For top Isekai anime, we've got ReZero with its brutal time loop struggles. That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime for its chill monster empire building. The Rising of the Shield Hero for revenge and party growth. Overlord for the evil Overlord power fantasy. And Konosuba for its hilarious dysfunctional party fails.
For thrilling adventures across alternate worlds, my top 5 isekai anime would be ReZero Starting Life in Another World, with its gripping time loop despair and emotional stakes. Sword Art Online, immersing players in deadly virtual reality battles. No Game, No Life, showcasing brilliant siblings conquering a world ruled by games. That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, blending humor and strategy as Rimuru builds a new society. And The Rising of the Shield Hero, highlighting resilience and redemption in a hostile fantasy realm. Each of these series delivers unique takes on the isekai genre, combining high-stakes battles, clever world-building, and emotional journeys that keep fans hooked.
For mecha anime, I'd go with Gurren Lagann for its over-the-top inspiring battles, Neon Genesis Evangelion for its deep psychological themes, Code Geass for its brilliant mix of strategy and rebellion, Mobile Suit Gundam The Origin for its classic foundational mecha storytelling, and Aldnoah Zero for its intense high-stakes mech action.
Neon Genesis Evangelion sits alone at the top as the most influential and psychologically complex mecha anime ever created. Giant robots fighting angels sounds straightforward until Hideaki Anno uses it as a vehicle for depression, identity crisis, and an existential deconstruction of the entire genre that permanently changed what anime could be. Code Geass follows as the most strategically thrilling and narratively ambitious mecha on the list, blending military chess matches with political intrigue and one of the greatest anti-heroes ever written in Lelouch, all building toward an ending that hits like a freight train. Gurren Lagann earns its spot as the most purely hype and emotionally charged mecha anime ever made, an over-the-top spiral energy-powered love letter to the genre that starts underground and ends at the scale of the entire universe, while making you cry and pump your fist at the same time. Mobile Suit Gundam Wing comes in as the classic entry that introduced an entire generation to the deeper political and moral questions the mecha genre loves to explore, with 5 iconic pilots and a war story that never painted either side as purely right or wrong. Rounding it out, Darling in the Franxx earns its controversial spot as the most emotionally investing modern mecha on the list. Flawed in its second half for sure, but Zero-2 in Hero's relationship and the show's themes of humanity and connection hit hard enough to deserve recognition regardless.
Neon Genesis Evangelion stands as a legendary psychological masterpiece that uses its biomechanical giants to explore profound themes of depression, existential dread, and human isolation. Code Geass Lelouch of the Rebellion delivers an adrenaline-fueled tactical thriller, combining fast-paced, high-tech roller combat frames with a gripping story of an exiled prince using mind control to overthrow a global empire. Mobile Suit Gundam, Iron-Blooded Orphans, provides a gritty, visceral, and emotionally devastating take on the franchise, focusing on a group of child soldiers fighting for survival in heavily armored, brutal, melee-focused machines. Gurren Lagann injects the genre with pure, unadulterated hype, featuring a spectacularly animated, over-the-top galactic epic where giant robots literally break the laws of physics, powered by pure human willpower. And 8686 offers a modern masterpiece of military drama, combining breathtaking spider tank drone combat with a deeply moving, tragic exploration of systemic racism and wartime propaganda.
Code Geass for tactical mind games and nightmare frames backing Lelouch's rebellion. Neon Genesis Evangelion because it redefined Mecha with psychological breakdowns and apocalyptic religious symbolism. Gurren Lagann for pure galaxy-tossing hype and drilling past impossible with giant robots. Mobile Suit Gundam the 08th MS Team for grounded, mud and grit war drama where mechs feel like tanks with limbs. And 8686 for its bleak, beautiful take on drone warfare, prejudice, and the human cost of piloting from the shadows.
For top mecha anime, we've got Gundam for its epic wars and political intrigue, Neon Genesis Evangelion for its psychological depth and giant robot action, Code Geass for its strategic mecha battles and rebellion, Gurren Lagann for its over-the-top drills and epic scale, and Full Metal Panic for its mix of school life and high-stakes military mechs.
For epic battles with towering machines and deep philosophical undertones, my top 5 mecha anime would be Neon Genesis Evangelion, with its groundbreaking mix of psychological drama and apocalyptic mech combat. Code Geass, blending rebellion, strategy, and powerful mechs with a morally complex story. Gurren Lagann, delivering over-the-top action and inspirational themes of perseverance. Mobile Suit Gundam Wing, showcasing political intrigue and iconic Gundam battles. And Aldnoah.0, combining intense mech warfare with a clash of Earth and Martian civilizations. Each of these series pushes the boundaries of the mecha genre, offering not just spectacular robot fights, but also layered storytelling and unforgettable characters.
For romance anime, I'd choose Clannad for its heartfelt, multi-layered love story, Toradora for its charming, slow-burn relationship, Your Lie in April for its blend of romance and music, Fruits Basket for its heartfelt, healing romance intertwined with family, and Kimi ni Todoge for its sweet, shy romance and character growth.
Your Lie in April claims the top spot again because no romance anime has ever used its central relationship to say something so beautiful and so devastating about love, loss, and the transformative power of finding someone who makes you see the world in color again. Toradora follows as the gold standard of the tsundere romance done right. Taiga and Ryuji's slow burn from unlikely allies to something much deeper is executed with such genuine warmth and perfect comedic timing that it remains the blueprint every high school romance anime tries to replicate. Clannad earns its place as the most complete and emotionally rewarding romance on the list, building a love story between Tomoya and Nagisa so carefully and tenderly across 2 seasons that by the time after story hits you are completely unprepared for what it does to your heart. Horimiya comes in as the freshest and most refreshingly honest modern romance, 2 people who show completely different faces to the world, finding safety and authenticity in each other, with a pace that respects the audience enough to actually let the relationship develop and breathe. Rounding it out, Kaguya-sama Love is War is the most creative and endlessly entertaining romantic comedy in recent memory, turning the simple premise of two proud geniuses refusing to confess into a psychological battle of wits that is somehow both brilliantly funny and genuinely swoony at the same time.
Horimiya delivers a wonderfully refreshing and realistic look at modern high school romance, skipping unnecessary drama to focus on the sweet, natural connection between 2 seemingly opposite students who discover each other's hidden sides. Toradora stands as an all-time classic tsundere masterpiece, brilliantly executing a slow-burn romance, where 2 misunderstood outcasts team up to help each other woo their respective crushes, only to unexpectedly fall for one another. Fruits Basket, 2019, provides a sweeping, deeply emotional supernatural drama where a kind-hearted girl heals a cursed family, building up to one of the most profoundly moving and satisfying romantic conclusions in anime history. Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai masterfully balances witty, fast-paced romantic banter with supernatural mysteries, featuring an incredibly supportive and mature main couple who tackles psychological manifestations of teenage anxiety together. And The Dangers in My Heart offers a masterful modern slow-burn story, tracking the incredibly wholesome, funny, and deeply endearing evolution of a socially awkward loner and a popular school model as they slowly bring out the absolute best in each other.
Horimiya for its wholesome, low-drama look at how 2 opposite high schoolers actually click. Kaguya-sama Love is War because genius-level mind games and tsundere battles make confessing feel like World War. Your Lie in April for music-fueled first love that'll wreck you emotionally in the best way. Fruits Basket 2019 for slow burn healing, where romance is tangled up with family trauma and the Zodiac curse, and Toradora for the classic tsundere versus delinquent setup that evolves into one of the most genuine, messy confessions in anime.
For top romance anime, my picks are Horimiya for its sweet high school love and hidden sides, Kaguya-sama Love is War for the hilarious mind games between 2 prideful geniuses, my teen romantic comedy SNA Few for its cynical take on relationships and growth,
Toradora for the fiery tsundere dynamics and slow burn romance, and Fruits Basket for its deep emotional healing and heartfelt connections.
For heartfelt stories that capture the beauty of love and connection, my top 5 romance anime would be Toradora, with its charming mix of comedy and emotional depth. Your Lie in April, blending music and bittersweet romance. Clannad After Story, delivering one of the most powerful explorations of family and enduring love. Fruits Basket, weaving romance into themes of acceptance and healing. And Lovely Complex, offering a hilarious yet touching look at an unconventional couple. Each of these series shines by combining emotional sincerity with memorable characters, making them timeless favorites in the romance genre.
For sci-fi anime, I'd choose Steins Gate for its mind-bending time travel plot, Cowboy Bebop for its stylish space western setting, Psycho Pass for its futuristic crime and surveillance world, Ghost in the Shell standalone complex for its philosophical cyberpunk universe, and Ergo Proxy for its dark, atmospheric future and existential mystery.
Steins Gate takes the undisputed top spot as the greatest science fiction anime ever made, a slow-burning time travel thriller that starts as a quirky lab experiment and escalates into one of the most emotionally and intellectually satisfying narratives in the entire medium, with Abakabe Rintaro standing as one of anime's greatest protagonists. Ghost in the Shell follows as the most philosophically dense and visually groundbreaking sci-fi on the list, asking questions about consciousness, identity, and what truly makes us human in ways that influence not just anime, but science fiction as a whole for decades after its release. Psycho Pass earns its place as the most chillingly relevant dystopian sci-fi in recent memory. A future where a system judges your likelihood to commit a crime before you even act is terrifying precisely because it never feels that far from reality, wrapped inside a genuinely gripping crime thriller. Trigun makes the list as the most underappreciated classic sci-fi on here, a desert planet western about a pacifist gunman carrying the weight of humanity's survival that balances goofy comedy and profound moral philosophy better than almost anything else in the genre. Rounding it out, Evangelion earns another appearance because beneath all the mecha and psychological horror, it is fundamentally a science fiction meditation on human instrumentality, evolution, and whether connection between people is worth the pain it inevitably brings. And no sci-fi anime has ever asked that question more brutally or beautifully.
Steins Gate stands as the definitive masterpiece of time travel fiction, meticulously weaving a complex, logically sound narrative around a group of eccentric scientists who accidentally trigger a catastrophic temporal war. Psycho Pass delivers a gripping, dystopian cyberpunk crime thriller set in a future where a collective supercomputer network instantly measures the criminal intent of citizens, triggering high-stakes philosophical clashes over free will. Cyberpunk Edgerunners injects a hyper-stylized, adrenaline-fueled neon rush into the genre, detailing a street kid's tragic explosive descent into a high-tech, corporate-dominated underworld where cybernetic body modifications slowly destroy the mind. Ghost in the Shell standalone complex offers a masterfully prophetic and intellectual cyberpunk police drama that deeply explores transhumanism, artificial intelligence, and cyber-terrorism through an elite counter-cybertech task force. And Cowboy Bebop effortlessly blends retrofuturism with a soulful space western aesthetic, following a dysfunctional crew of bounty hunters drifting through a beautifully realized, melancholic solar system soundtracked by timeless jazz.
Steins Gate for its mind-bending time travel thriller that starts as microwave experiments and ends with existential panic. Cowboy Bebop, because space bounty hunter jazz noir never gets old and the vibes are immaculate. Psycho Pass for its Blade Runner-style dystopia, where your mental state decides if you're a criminal. Legend of the Galactic Heroes for massive space fleets, politics, and strategy that make Star Wars look small-scale. And Planetes for blue-collar astronauts cleaning orbital debris while wrestling with very human dreams in a shockingly realistic near future.
For top sci-fi anime, my picks are Neon Genesis Evangelion for its mind-bending mecha and existential themes, Ghost in the Shell for its cyberpunk philosophy and tech action, Steins Gate for its tense time travel thrills, Psycho Pass for the dystopian justice system and moral dilemmas, and Ergo Proxy for its dark mystery and philosophical depth.
My top 5 sci-fi anime blend futuristic technology, psychological depth, and thrilling storytelling. Steins Gate, Cowboy Bebop, Psycho Pass, Parasite the Maxim, and Gurren Lagann. These series stand out for their unique takes on science fiction, from time travel and dystopian justice systems to space exploration and parasitic horror.
For sports anime, I'd pick Haikyuu for its electrifying volleyball action and team spirit, Kuroko's Basketball for its flashy, high-stakes basketball games, Yuri on Ice for its beautiful figure skating and romance, Ping Pong the Animation for its unique art style and psychological depth, and Slam Dunk for its classic, inspiring basketball journey.
Haikyuu takes the undisputed top spot as the greatest sports anime ever made, a volleyball series that has absolutely no business being this emotionally devastating and narratively rich, turning every single match into a masterclass of tension, character payoff, and the kind of hype that makes you want to sprint through a wall. Kuroko no Basket follows as the most stylish and over-the-top basketball anime ever produced, leaning fully into its superhuman ability system to deliver match after match of increasingly ridiculous and impossibly satisfying clutch moments that somehow never stop being hype. Ping Pong the Animation earns its place as the most artistically daring and thematically profound sports anime on the list. Masaki Yuasa's unconventional animation style and the story's unflinching look at talent, pressure, and what sport means to different kinds of people makes it one of the most genuinely moving anime in any genre. Blue Lock comes in as the freshest and most psychologically intense entry on the list, reframing soccer as a brutal survival competition and asking what separates a good player from a true egoist genius in ways that make every episode feel like a thriller. Rounding it out, Hajime no Ippo is the most classic and emotionally grounded boxing anime ever made. Decades of manga and anime following Makunochi Ippo's journey from bullied kid to professional fighter with some of the most satisfying training arcs and match payoffs the sports genre has ever delivered.
Haikyuu stands as the definitive masterpiece of modern sports fiction, delivering a masterclass in ensemble storytelling and fluid, jaw-dropping volleyball animation that makes every single match feel like a high-stakes battle. Hajime no Ippo provides a legendary, hard-hitting boxing epic that brilliantly captures the grueling reality of combat sports, pairing brutal, strategic ring choreography with deeply impactful training montages and hilarious gym camaraderie. Run with the Wind offers a beautifully mature, character-driven drama about a ragtag group of college misfits training for a grueling elite marathon relay race, exploring profound themes of personal motivation and mental endurance. Kuroko's Basketball turns high school hoops into a hyper-stylized, high-octane spectacle by gifting its players unique, over-the-top abilities that make for incredibly thrilling, tactical, and fast-paced superhero-like matchups. And Blue Lock completely flips traditional sports tropes on their head by introducing a ruthless, battle royale-style training facility designed to cast aside team synergy in order to breed the ultimate hyper-egoistic striker for the Japanese national team.
Haikyuu, for volleyball action so intense you'll be spiking your couch cushions. Slam Dunk because it made basketball cool in anime with raw attitude and legendary fundamentals. Hajime no Ippo for boxing fights that feel like you're taking the punches, and the underdog hype is unmatched. Ping Pong the Animation for its weird, stylish art and brutally real dive into talent, ego, and obsession. And Run with the Wind for turning college long-distance running into a character-driven, emotional marathon you didn't know you needed.
For top sports anime, my picks are Haikyuu for its high-flying volleyball passion and team spirit, Slam Dunk for the raw basketball grind and growth, Ping Pong the Animation for its intense psychological matches and unique style, Yuri on Ice for the graceful figure skating drama and romance, and Hajime no Ippo for the gritty boxing battles and underdog drive.
For exhilarating competition and inspiring journeys, my top 5 sports anime would be Haikyuu, with its electrifying volleyball matches and themes of teamwork, Kuroko's Basketball, showcasing intense rivalries and unique playing styles, Yuri on Ice, blending figure-skating artistry with heartfelt character growth, Hajime no Ippo, delivering powerful boxing bouts alongside a story of perseverance, and Run with the Wind, capturing the emotional bonds and struggles of long-distance runners. Each of these series not only thrills with dynamic sports action, but also resonates through themes of friendship, determination, and personal growth.
For the greatest anime of all time, I'd say Neon Genesis Evangelion for its groundbreaking blend of mecha and psychology, Dragon Ball Z for its global impact on action anime, Cowboy Bebop for its genre-blending style and unforgettable soundtrack, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood for its perfect mix of action, story, and themes, and Spirited Away for its magical storytelling and Oscar-winning brilliance.
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood claims the top spot as the single greatest anime ever made, a perfectly constructed story from start to finish with no filler, no wasted moments, incredible action, genuine emotion, and themes of sacrifice and redemption executed at a level that no other anime has managed to fully replicate. Neon Genesis Evangelion follows as the most important and genre-defining anime in history, permanently altering what the medium could be and say about the human condition in ways that still ripple across every ambitious anime that comes after it. Hunter x Hunter 2011 earns its place as the most brilliantly written battle shonen ever conceived, with the Chimera Ant arc alone standing as one of the greatest narrative achievements in all of fiction, regardless of medium. Steins Gate comes in as the most intellectually and emotionally satisfying single-story anime has ever told, a time travel thriller that earns every twist, every tear, and every moment of its legendary reputation through pure masterful writing and character work. Rounding out the greatest of all time, Claude After Story takes the final spot not because it is the most technically perfect anime on the list, but because nothing in the entire medium has ever made you feel the full weight of love, loss, family, and the passage of time quite like it does. And hitting that hard and that honestly is its own kind of greatness.
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood reigns as the definitive masterpiece of the medium, boasting a perfectly paced, tightly woven narrative that masterfully balances explosive alchemy combat with deep philosophical questions on grief and morality. Attack on Titan stands as a modern storytelling phenomenon, delivering an apocalyptic, high-stakes epic that brilliantly evolves from a simple survival story against grotesque giants into a complex, tragic examination of generational hatred and political warfare. Steins Gate provides the absolute gold standard for time travel fiction, meticulously executing a flawless, emotionally devastating plot where a group of eccentric scientists must outsmart fate to prevent a catastrophic global dystopia. Hunter x Hunter 2011 completely redefines the shonen genre by pairing a whimsical sense of adventure with a brutally intelligent, subversive world where conflicts are solved through a hyperlogical, deeply strategic power system. And Neon Genesis Evangelion remains a legendary, culture-defining psychological masterpiece that forever changed television by utilizing giant biomechanical robots to construct a raw, profoundly moving exploration of clinical depression, existential dread, and human isolation.
All right, calling it. My top 5 greatest anime of all time in one shot. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood for flawless pacing, world building, and emotional payoff with zero filler. Neon Genesis Evangelion because it shattered mecha conventions and turned anime into psychological philosophy. Cowboy Bebop for jazz, space, and storytelling so cool it basically defined adult anime in the West. Monster for a slow burn thriller about morality and evil that feels more like prestige TV than anime. And Spirited Away, because Hayao Miyazaki's masterpiece is still the most universally transcendent film anime has ever produced.
My top 5 greatest anime of all time are Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood for its flawless storytelling and epic adventure, Neon Genesis Evangelion for its groundbreaking mecha and psychological depth, Attack on Titan for its intense action and mind-blowing twists, Steins Gate for its brilliant time travel thriller, and Hunter x Hunter for its incredible world-building and emotional journey.
For timeless masterpieces that have defined anime culture, my top 5 greatest anime of all time would be Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, with its flawless blend of action, philosophy, and emotional storytelling. Death Note, delivering a gripping battle of wits between light and L. Attack on Titan, revolutionizing modern anime with its intense narrative and world building. Naruto, inspiring generations through its themes of perseverance and bonds. And Cowboy Bebop, setting the gold standard for style, music, and existential storytelling in anime. Each of these series transcends its genre, leaving a lasting impact on fans worldwide and earning their place as legends in the medium.